Stop for a moment. Do not scroll. Look at me right now. This is the final time I am reaching through the noise to catch your spirit. You did not arrive here by accident. Heaven aligned time itself to bring you to this exact intersection. If you let distraction pull you away now, you allow the enemy to win this crucial hour. I need your absolute attention for the next few minutes, because a massive door is closing. I am trying one last time to talk to you before the silence settles. For many months, you have asked for a sign. You have begged for a clear voice in the dark. This video is that very answer. But if you rush past this moment in a hurry, you will miss the blueprint of your rescue. The window of grace is shrinking. Do not let your busy mind steal this divine appointment. I know who you are. My beloved child, you are the one who carries a heavy storm inside a smiling shell. The world looks at you and sees a strong person. They think you have everything under control because you never complain. But I see the truth behind your quiet eyes. I see a vessel filled with endless noise and constant static. You are drowning in thoughts. Your soul feels like an exhausted warrior who has been fighting a long war without any rest. You wake up tired. You go to bed with a racing mind. Every single day feels like a heavy mountain you must climb with your bare hands. And even when you try to pray, the words feel like dry dust in your mouth. You wonder if I am even listening to your secret cries. You have been fighting battles in absolute silence. You pretend you are okay for the sake of others. You absorb their problems, and you fix their broken pieces while your own heart breaks. I saw you when you sat on the edge of your bed last night in total darkness. You held your breath because you did not want anyone to hear the sound of your spirit shattering. The pressure of survival has binned your beautiful light into a tiny corner. You are running on empty strength. You have used your own willpower to survive for so long, and now that willpower is fading away. You feel an intense restlessness behind your sternum that never lifts. It sits there like a heavy rock. You have labeled this feeling as permanent anxiety, but hear me with the deepest part of your tired heart. That anxiety is not your identity. That quiet restlessness is actually a holy signal. The enemy has used the friction of life to drown out your rhythm. He wants you to believe you are broken. He whispers lies into your fatigue. He is terrified of your rising destiny. He wants you to quit before the breakthrough. You have poured your pure love into wrong hands. They did not know how to hold your heart. People have used your kindness and they walked away when your vessel ran dry. You ask me why your sincerity is constantly met with deep disappointment. You ask why the ones you protected were the very ones who struck your heart. My child, I have recorded every single drop of your pain. You look into the mirror. You do not recognize the person staring back at you. The joy that used to fill your eyes has been replaced by a quiet survival mode. You do things automatically now. You cook, you work, and you talk. But your soul feels entirely detached from the rhythm of life. You feel like a ghost walking through your own house. You think you are falling behind your peers. You look at their lives and you wonder why your doors remain firmly locked. It feels like you arrived late to your own destiny. You see others dancing in their harvest. You are still digging in the hard dirt. The delay has exhausted your hope. It has made your prayers grow quieter than they used to be. But I am stepping into your day right now to halt this destructive cycle. I am breaking through the heavy static of your mind with my direct voice. This is your moment of turning. Can you feel my holy presence piercing through your confusion? You must respond to me right now. I need a sign of your obedience before we proceed into the deep mysteries. Comment Amen if you feel my presence reaching your spirit right now. Do not let pride or distraction keep your fingers still. This simple act is your recognition of my authority over your storm. Type that word to draw a line against the enemy. You are telling the darkness that your king is finally speaking to you. The breakthrough begins with your response. Good. You stayed. You responded. Now let me tell you how well I know your name. I have watched you carry the weight of yesterday into the promises of today. You are a carefully formed masterpiece, not a random fragment of creation. You cannot see your own worth right now, but it has never disappeared from my eyes. A jewel covered in dust is still precious. You have trained yourself to survive in the desert. You have become a silent survivor who knows how to hide wounds from the crowd. You wear armor made of smiles and polite words. Your spirit is crying out for a safe refuge. You need a place to rest. I am that refuge. I am holding you together. I was there when you were ready to explode. Every single tear you shed in the dark landed directly in my hands. Not one of them was wasted. Not one of them was ignored by your father. I know the exact number of times you wanted to quit everything and run away. I saw you when you whispered that you could not do this anymore. Yet you woke up the next morning and you kept going because of your faith. You feel alone in a crowded room. Your friends laugh and plan their futures. You feel like an alien from a different world. No one knows the absolute terror of your midnight thoughts. No one understands the heavy grief of losing your own spark. You feel like you are fading away into nothingness. But I am here to return that spark to your soul today. I am trying one last time to rescue you. You must escape this exhausting cycle. Do not let the noise distract you again. The consequences will be heavy if you walk away. The enemy wants to seal your mind in static. He does not want you to hear my instructions. He knows that I'm about to release a massive breakthrough over your life. He is desperate to blind you. You are standing at the threshold of a great shift in the unseen realm. The waiting season that has drained your spirit is finally reaching its absolute limit. But you must be awake to receive what is coming. You cannot walk into a new chapter with an old mind full of doubt. You must drop the heavy bags of worry that you have carried for years. It is hard to trust my timing. The silence felt like total abandonment. You asked me why I did not answer your desperate cry last year. You asked why I allowed that beautiful door to shut in your face. You thought I was punishing you for your past mistakes. But today I will reveal the true mechanism behind every painful delay. You will finally understand. You are not a failure because you are tired. You gave everything to a huge battle. It was too big for your earthly strength. You were never meant to carry the future all at once. I designed you to walk with me one step at a time. I will not confuse you. My voice brings absolute clarity, and my presence brings deep calm. You are completely safe with me. Breathe deeply right now, my beloved child. Let your shoulders relax for just 1 second. Let your mind stop racing through all the scenarios of failure. I am already working ahead of your steps. I am rearranging the things you cannot see. The static is beginning to clear because my light is piercing through your heavy atmosphere. Your rescue has already started. Do not scroll away from this holy transmission. Notice your racing heartbeat right now as these words settle into your soul. That sudden warmth inside your chest is not random coincidence. It is your spirit recognizing the voice of its creator. Stay with me for the next part, because I am about to open the books of your life and show you the truth. Come closer to my voice, my child. Let me speak softly to the part of your soul that is most tired. You have been wandering in a very lonely valley. You looked around you for a hand to hold, but you found nothing but empty shadows. And in those heavy moments when the silence felt completely cold, you believed that I had forgotten your name. You felt entirely invisible. I saw you when you walked through the crowded streets. You wore your heavy armor of false happiness. You smiled at every person who passed by your side. But inside your chest, your spirit was weeping from an intense ache. You felt like a stranger in your own life, because nobody bothered to ask how you were truly doing beneath the surface. They only wanted your strength. I saw you when you sat in your car after a long day of serving others. You turned off the engine and you just stared into the gray steering wheel. The energy had completely vanished from your body. You lacked the power to even open the door and walk into your own house. And you asked the steering wheel if this endless cycle of pouring out and staying empty would ever stop. I saw you when you hid your swollen eyes from your children and your family. You locked yourself in the tiny bathroom. You turned on the cold water very loud so they would not hear your broken gasps. You held your chest with both hands because the massive physical weight of being misunderstood was completely suffocating your fragile lungs. You scrubbed your face, and you came out smiling. You have built a massive prison out of your own high expectations. You tell yourself that you cannot show weakness to any living soul. You carry the burdens of your friends, your parents, and your co-workers. But when your own house started to crumble, You looked around and realized you were completely alone in the ruins. The isolation made your heart turn freezing cold. The silence of heaven has been the heaviest part of your dark journey. You looked at the blue sky and you saw nothing but empty air. You sent your raw prayers into the deep night. They felt like broken echoes that bounced back directly onto your face. And you quietly wondered if you had committed some hidden sin that made your Creator turn his back on your misery. You began to accept this heavy isolation as your permanent reality. You stopped expecting good things to happen to your name. You told your bleeding heart that you were simply born to suffer in darkness, while everyone around you was born to thrive in the golden sunlight. This toxic thought has been draining your spirit like an invisible poison, but I am here to tell you that your conclusion is entirely false. Let us pause right here in this deep valley of your raw emotions. If your soul recognizes that I see your silent tears, you must give me a sign of your agreement. Write, "I am not alone," in the comments below. Let your fingers move to seal this holy realization. This is your first step out of the heavy fog of abandonment. You are labeling your new reality. Now that you have spoken your agreement, let me peel away the thick illusion of your loneliness. You believed you were entirely alone because your physical eyes could not see my form, but I was actually standing closer to your wounded flesh than your very own breath could ever reach. I was there in every single room where you wept, and even when you felt completely abandoned by the entire world, I never left your side for a single fraction of a second. My presence was absolute. I was there in that dark bathroom when you turned on the running water to hide your tears. I stood beside the sink. I watched your trembling hands grip the cold porcelain as you fought for air, and as you pressed your face into that wet towel, my holy arms were wrapped completely around your shaking shoulders. You did not feel me, but I was holding you. I was there in your car when you sat in the freezing silence of that empty parking lot. I sat in the passenger seat next to your empty hands. I heard the unspoken words that you were too tired to scream out loud. I saw the massive weight of tomorrow sitting on your steering wheel, and I completely quieted the sudden rush of panic in your troubled mind before it could break your beautiful sanity. Every single drop of water that fell from your eyes was recorded in my holy books. I did not ignore a single tear. Your sorrow was never invisible to me. I gathered those broken fragments of your aching heart, and I kept them perfectly safe in my dwelling place. They are precious seeds. They are not a sign of weakness. They are proof of your pure love. You have asked me why a good father would allow his chosen child to walk through such deep agony. You wondered if my love had vanished from your life. But I need you to listen carefully to my quiet whisper right now. Your suffering was never a punishment for your past. It was actually a holy preparation for a magnificent destiny that is far bigger than your current earthly sight can absorb. The enemy wanted to use this painful valley to destroy your faith completely. He wanted you to believe that the heavy silence of heaven meant the total and permanent absence of your loving Creator. He whispered that you were completely forgotten and unloved. But his loud lies are being exposed by my voice today. I allowed the door to close because I was protecting your precious soul. You thought you were falling behind your friends while they marched forward into prosperity. You felt like you were standing completely still in a thick fog. But you were not standing still, my child. You were being deeply rooted into my supernatural strength. I was secretly building a solid and unshakable foundation beneath your feet while the wild storms raged all around your fragile life. A jewel cannot be polished without experiencing intense friction. A soldier cannot gain true authority without surviving a heavy battle. You are that soldier, my beloved child. You have been tested in the hot fires of isolation and betrayal, and the very wounds that made you cry in the dark are turning into your ultimate weapons of victory. Let us review your total progress so far. Look back at the massive obstacles you have already crossed. You thought you would die in that black night last winter. You believed your spirit could never recover from that terrible heartbreak. Yet here you are at this very moment, standing tall and listening intently to the sweet sound of my divine voice. You survived because my hand held your life. Because I see your weariness, I have aligned a provision to help you receive my gifts. My child, hear this truth clearly. The silence you experienced was never my absence. The enemy has been filling the space with constant noise. It is a thick static that blocks your vision. You are fighting a massive storm. This static is so constant that my voice has been invisible to your eyes. I have not abandoned you. I have been preparing. I have guided someone to bring you an instrument of restoration. I will show you what it is before this message ends. But first, you must understand what blocked your beautiful blessings. The blockages in your life were never engineered by my hands. I do not withhold joy from my children because I enjoy watching them suffer. Every closed door was a strategic wall to shield your heart from wolves. You could not see the hidden trap behind that beautiful opportunity. But I saw it clearly, and I pulled your steps away because I love your future too much to ever let you walk blindly into a tragic disaster. You have wept in secret because you felt like the heavy trials were slowly stripping away your entire identity. You felt smaller and weaker with each passing season. But you were not shrinking, my beloved child. You were being pruned by a master gardener who knows your true capacity. The dead branches of toxic relationships and empty expectations had to fall away. They were choking your potential. The noise of the world told you that you were a total failure. The enemy used your exhaustion to paint a false picture of your destiny. He desperately wants you to look at your currently empty hands and believe the lie that nothing good will ever change in your life. But I am telling you that the ground beneath your feet is already shifting. The silent preparation is completely finished. You are ready to receive the truth. Do not close your heart to my voice as we move forward. The static is melting away because my light is growing brighter in your room. You have survived the truest test of the dark valley. Now it is time for me to pull back the curtain and reveal the hidden mechanism of your life. Listen closely to my next words, because they will alter everything. Before I show you what comes next, I need to speak to the doubt sitting quietly in the back of your heart. I know what it is. You are thinking that you have heard words like these before. You have prayed and you have believed, but still the answer did not come. Why would this specific time be different? My beloved child, that question does not anger me. It tells me how long you have been faithful in the dark. You feel like your prayers have been hitting a cold brass ceiling for years. You look at the sky and you ask if your voice is just evaporating into empty air. I see your frustration. I see how hard it is to keep your faith burning when your reality looks completely unchanged. You are tired of waiting for a promise that seems to always stay out of your reach. It is completely natural to feel this weariness. But hear me plainly right now. My silence in those heavy years was never my absence. It was the quiet sound of me rearranging massive things you could not see. Every prayer you thought went entirely unanswered was actually being answered in a deep language of timing you could not yet read. I was never absent from your pain. I was being extremely careful with a life that I love so much. So do not let the memory of the waiting close your heart to what I am about to do today. The waiting was the necessary preparation, and that preparation is finished. I am clearing the path. I am removing the obstacles that you did not even know existed. Trust my voice in this very second, because I am shifting your environment. There was a great prophet in the ancient scriptures named Elijah. He had just called down holy fire from heaven, and it was the greatest miracle of his entire generation. He defeated the false teachers. He proved my power to the whole nation. But immediately after that massive victory, a sudden threat came against his life. Fear gripped his heart, and he ran straight into the wilderness. He traveled for a whole day into the dry desert to escape his enemies. He sat down under a lonely broom tree, and he asked me to take his life right there. He told me that he had enough. He was not a weak man. He was simply empty. He had given every single drop of his energy to my service, and he possessed nothing left inside his physical shell. He wanted to sleep forever. My child, I did not rebuke his tired spirit. I did not demand him to stand up and fight harder. I did not give him a long lecture about faith or courage. I simply sent a loving angel to touch his shoulder. The angel brought him fresh bread baked on hot stones. The angel brought him a jar of cool water. I let my exhausted champion sleep in the quiet shade of that desert tree. When he woke up, the angel told him to eat again because the journey was too great for his body. I am saying the same thing to you today. Sometimes the most faithful thing I can do for you is not calling you to strive. Sometimes I look at your weariness and I say to you, rest, eat your bread. You have gone far enough on your own finite strength. Let me feed your hungry soul. You are just like that exhausted prophet today. You have crossed heavy oceans of affliction, and you are sitting under your own tree of weariness. You have given your light to everyone else, and now you are sitting in the dark. But your story does not end in this desert. I am opening a new path of supernatural restoration for your life. I have placed a divine provision on your path. Before I reveal this sacred tool, you must anchor your alignment with heaven. You must declare your total trust in my sovereign hands. Do not let the frantic clock of the world dictate your pace anymore. You need to make a physical move of agreement right now. You need to tell the unseen realm that you are ready to receive my divine calendar and my perfect timing. Anchor your agreement with heaven today. Comment, I trust your timing, before I reveal my provision. Let those words become a bold shield against the enemy. Speak them into the unseen realm as a holy ACT of surrender. You are telling the darkness that you no longer serve its frantic rhythm. You are stepping into my perfect calendar. Write it down right now in the comments. Let your soul settle into my absolute peace as you type that word. You are dropping the heavy weight of control. You are admitting that your own strength is not enough, and that is a beautiful place to be. When you are weak, then my supernatural strength becomes fully visible in your life. Now let us unlock the first major mystery of your long bondage. I want to clear your mind. I have watched you look at your life and wonder why every beautiful door suddenly slammed in your face. You saw others walk through their blessings while your feet were glued to the floor. You saw your friends get the promotions, the marriages, and the financial breakthroughs. You stayed in the dark room. You told yourself that you were simply clumsy. You believed that you lacked talent. You thought that I was ignoring your name because of your past mistakes. But that is a thief of a lie, and I am exposing it right now. Here is the hidden mechanism of what was truly happening. I have a specific name for this mechanism. I call this concept the protective delay. Remember what I named this, the protective delay. It was never a sign of my holy rejection. Your human eyes could only see the golden handle of that beautiful door. But my eyes saw the deadly trap waiting on the other side. If I had allowed you to enter that room last year, it would have broken your fragile soul completely. That delay was my absolute protection. I held you back because I was shielding you from a massive destruction you did not know was close. So those heavy years you called wasted were not wasted at all. Those painful seasons of standing still were not a punishment from your Father. They were my holy hands holding your steps away from rooms that were not equipped to carry your massive destiny. You were never falling behind your peers. You were being deeply formed in secret. The delay was your holy shield. Now the silent preparation is finished. I am handed you the key to the door you have been waiting outside of for so long. To help you receive what I have already prepared, I am revealing a deep truth about your physical vessel. When I created the human mind at the beginning of the world, I placed a sacred signal at its very center. I built it into your flesh. Wise minds who study the brain have recently discovered this hidden reality, and they call it the gamma wave. It is the frequency of pure divine receptivity. It ran freely in your mind when you were a little child. It is the exact reason why children learn so quickly, and why they trust my voice without any doubt. They do not carry the heavy static of worry. When I said in my holy scriptures that you must become like little children, I was not speaking only of your spirit. I was speaking of the very physical frequency I built into your brain. I designed your mind to hum at this level of peace. But the enemy used the frantic noise of modern survival to choke that signal. He filled your mind with heavy static so you could not hear me. He used the pressure of bills, the pain of betrayal, and the weight of the world to drown out the frequency I placed in you from the beginning. You cannot hear my whispers when your receiver is filled with constant panic. Because I see your weariness, I have guided wise minds to work with sound the way I originally designed it. I have prepared a special provision for you. Wise researchers have spent decades studying what I hid in sound vibrations. I quietly directed their curiosity toward this discovery. They built a special frequency instrument that clears the enemy's interference from your thoughts. You do not have to work hard for this blessing. You do not have to earn it through stressful discipline. It requires no heavy effort from your body. You simply surrender for 7 minutes with headphones on, and you allow my sacred design to restore what was taken from your soul. You close your eyes and you rest. I am going to show you exactly where to find what they built before our conversation ends today. It is an earthly instrument of heavenly restoration that I have aligned for your specific rescue. Do not let the doubt in your mind close your ears to this divine tool. Take this not as a random coincidence, but as a provision for your journey. The static is melting away because my voice is cutting through the fog. Stand up from under your tree of weariness, my child. Listen closely to my next words, because the climax of your freedom is arriving right now. Hear my prophetic decree over your life right now. The time of your hidden forging in the dark desert is completely finished. I am declaring a total end to the generational patterns of sorrow and delay that bound your ancestors. The boundary lines are shifting at my sovereign command. I am stripping the authority of every negative voice that told you your dreams had expired. You are no longer the helpless victim of your heavy circumstances. The tight shackles of isolation are melting away under the intense heat of my holy light. You thought you were breaking in the darkness, but you were actually being reshaped into a magnificent weapon of victory. The weapon is fully ready. The long season of weeping is officially closing now. I am opening the windows of heaven to release a wave of restoration over your name. The heavy walls that have stood against your progress are trembling right now. I am not asking permission from the world to bless you. I am simply doing it. What was sealed against your family is being unsealed by my hand. What was locked tightly is being unlocked in this very second. You will walk through the open doors, and you will know that your Father did it. The shackles are breaking. Shout it into the unseen realm by typing your agreement. Comment the phrase, "The door is open," right now in the text below. Let the enemy hear the sound of your total victory. This is your moment of absolute release. The atmosphere is changing because you chose to stand firm in your faith. Let me show you who you are truly becoming. Picture a beautiful morning exactly 6 months from now. You wake up before your frantic alarm clock rings, and for the first time in a very long while, there is no tight knot in your stomach waiting for your day. There is no heavy cloud of dread hovering over your head. You lie there in the quiet stillness for a moment. You notice that something is completely different inside your physical shell. The heavy static that carried you into panic for years is simply not there. Your very first thought is not fear or survival. It is a quiet question about what magnificent good thing I have made for your life today. You breathe deeply, and the clean air goes all the way down into your restored lungs. There is a soft peace in your chest, where there used to be a clenched fist of anxiety. You look out the window and you see the golden sunlight playing on the green leaves. You are no longer performing for the crowd. You are simply at home, in your own identity. That peaceful version of you is not a distant fantasy, my child. That person already exists in the realm of reality. She is not years away from your current life. She is exactly one surrender away from the person sitting here right now. The distance between the two of you is not measured in years. It is measured in your permission. And the true bridge to that beautiful future is not more human effort. It is the exact opposite. It is the sacred moment you finally stop carrying what I never asked you to carry. You must let me carry the weight instead. Stop striving in your own empty strength. Start receiving what your Father has already prepared for your journey. That is the whole distance. I have gifted humanity the deep wisdom to unlock what I placed within sound and within the design of the mind I created. Wise men and women spent decades in intense research. They did not even know it was my Holy Spirit who directed their curiosity toward what I already designed. I directed wise institutions to confirm my creation. Researchers at Princeton University studied this sacred gamma signal. They found it matches the childlike mind I spoke of in my holy scriptures. Scientists at Berkeley University confirmed that nearly all children carry this creative genius that most adults have lost. The Einstein Center in Berlin confirmed this legendary flow state is driven by gamma waves. Columbia University found this signal radiates outward to bless your whole family. A published study from December 27, 2025 confirmed these profound findings. And I want to show you two of my beloved children who received this provision before you arrived. I want to show you what I did for one of my precious daughters, named Rachel. She was a nurse in California who had sought deep peace for many years. She tried many different methods, but her mind remained filled with heavy static. 2 weeks after receiving this sound provision, her entire life transformed completely. Her marriage was healed, her learning became effortless, and she described her life as an enchanted fairy tale. She said that something had cleared because the blocked channel was finally open, and for others, I moved differently. I want to show you what I did for one of my sons named Michael in Dallas, Texas. He came to this provision because he wanted focus and his children's well-being. 2 months later, his business grew so much that he left his stressful job. His wife said his mind seemed completely transformed. Hard problems that used to steal his sleep now solved themselves while he rested. He said his brain was finally running on what it was always supposed to run on. Over 18,000 of my children have already received this holy provision before you. They stepped out of the heavy darkness. They call it the Genius Song. This is the exact frequency instrument that I have guided into existence for your restoration. It is not a generic meditation application, and it is not a basic soundtrack found on streaming networks. Those are cheap imitations engineered by the world. This is a unique instrument of heavenly alignment. It requires only 7 minutes of your time each day. You simply put your headphones on, close your eyes, and enter a state of complete surrender. You are not doing any difficult work. You are not practicing a stressful technique. You are simply allowing the sacred gamma signal that I placed in your brain at the beginning to return. This divine provision is not for those who are merely curious about spiritual things. This is specifically for the one I have been speaking to throughout this urgent message. It is for my exhausted warrior who has fought hard and prayed sincerely, but feels locked out of the breakthrough. It is for the vessel filled with noise. To my beloved child who has already tried everything and feels too embarrassed to trust once more, hear my voice. What failed you in the past required your intense human effort. This requires absolutely none. I designed this tool to work because of my perfect architecture inside your brain, not because of your flawed discipline. The noise must stop now. Earthly experts charge hundreds of dollars per hour for private sessions that attempt to reach this peaceful state. The complex equipment that researchers use in clinics costs thousands of dollars. But I do not call you to expensive machines or medical buildings. I placed this provision within reach, specifically for the one who would receive it here. This is a small earthly exchange for the massive harvest I have prepared. It is a mustard seed of investment for a lifetime of absolute clarity. And I have aligned 4 additional bonus provisions as gifts for your journey. The first gift is called Genius Child, which is a special track for your children's focus and inner confidence. The second gift is the original prosperity text that the famous secrets of the world were built upon. The third gift is a beautiful guided visualization recorded by a trusted voice to soothe your spirit. The fourth gift is an easy infographic detailing the daily habits for sustaining your restored gamma signal. These are my additional blessings. Where I place truth, the enemy always places clever imitation. There are false frequencies circulating on streaming platforms under similar names. Do not be led astray by those fake tracks because they carry none of the restoration I designed. Protect your spirit and use only the verified source I have set before your eyes. I do not lead my children into dangerous worldly risk. This holy provision is fully protected by a steadfast guarantee for 60 days. If the deep restoration does not come to your mind, the earthly exchange is returned to you completely. You will lose absolutely nothing. Walk forward into the light without a single ounce of fear. Take this step of obedience right now. Embrace the sound provision I have placed for you in the pinned comment below and in the description. This is your personal invitation from the King of Heaven. Do not let the distraction of the enemy steal this moment from your soul. Step forward into your destiny and receive my care. Now, my child, set aside the noise of decision for a moment. I have shown you what I placed on your path today. Whether you step forward into my provision right now or later, you are still my precious beloved child. And as the heavy clutter of the world begins to drift away from your mind, I want to wrap my holy arms around your tired spirit before this message ends. Close your eyes. Breathe. I am still right here beside you. Let your mind become completely still. You do not have to figure out the next 10 years today because I hold the master key to every locked door. The heavy bags of planning and survival have made your shoulders stiff. Drop them onto the floor right now. Let the exhausting weight of being the strong one melt away into my soft presence. You can safely let go of the steering wheel. The battle belongs to the King of Heaven, not to your fragile flesh. I did not design your human body to carry the constant friction of the future. I did not create your mind to be a frantic calculator of worry. And every morning when you wake up in fear, I am already standing at the threshold of your day to clear the traps before your feet can even step out of bed. You must trust my rhythm. Look back at the great storms that tried to drown your life last season. You did not survive them by your own cleverness or your empty strength. I was the invisible shield that absorbed the heavy arrows of the adversary. I was the silent whisper that kept your sanity intact when the whole world turned upside down, and my hands were always beneath your feet when you believed you were hitting the absolute floor. You survived because of my grace. I am releasing a beautiful blessing of resolution over your household today. The long years of constant lack and financial static are reaching their natural end. I am opening the storehouses of heaven to pour out fresh provision upon your specific name. You will no longer have to hustle like a desperate slave for every single crumb, because I am establishing your steps in a spacious place of abundance. I am healing the deep wounds of betrayal that made your heart grow cold. The toxic people who took your pure love and gave you nothing but pain have been permanently removed by my hand. I saw how they drained your precious energy until you felt like an empty shell. I am bringing faithful souls into your circle who will honor your kind spirit. They will pour light back into your life. Hear my holy declarations over your new identity. You are a holy vessel, fully restored, to receive what I prepared from the foundation of the world. The dark cloud of your past mistakes has been washed away by my perfect mercy. You are no longer defined by the painful scars of your old battles, because you are a clean channel through which my supernatural power will flow into the earth. Your mind is becoming a clear receiver, where my quiet whispers can be easily recognized. The heavy noise of the world no longer has any dominion over your thoughts. You carry the sacred frequency of divine receptivity that I placed in you from the beginning. It was never truly lost, but it was only hidden beneath the thick static of your survival until this very moment when my voice returned it to your soul. You are the one who became like a little child. You threw away your pride and you listened to the urgent voice of your Father. Because of your beautiful obedience in this very hour, you will now receive every single promise that was made to my children from the beginning of time. You will walk through this world with a light heart and an unbothered mind. The frantic rhythm of the world will no longer dictate your daily peace. The enemy will try to come back to steal this holy peace from your chest. He will bring old thoughts of anxiety and familiarity to your door tomorrow morning. But you must stand firm in your new identity. When the false static of the world whispers that nothing has changed in your life, you must answer with my direct truth, because your victory is already sealed. Tell the darkness that your receiver is locked onto the frequency of your King. Your days of wandering in the dark fog are completely finished. I am clearing the path ahead of your steps so you can march forward without any hesitation. The secret traps that the adversary laid for your sudden ruin have been completely dismantled by my heavenly hosts, and you will walk through the dangerous field in perfect safety. You do not have to look back at the pain of yesterday with regret. Every single tear was a seed. You are the cycle breaker of your lineage. The invisible ceiling that held your parents and your grandparents in permanent limitation has been shattered by my decree. You are stepping over the old borders into a territory of freedom and joy. Your precious children will inherit a smooth and beautiful path, because you chose to stand awake and obedient in this crucial hour. When I called your name, the blessing will ripple outward. I am with you always, even until the absolute end of time. My presence will hover over your bed while you sleep in perfect safety tonight. My angels will guard your front door against every weapon of the adversary. You do not have to fight for your survival in the dark anymore, because I have already won the heavy hour, and my victory is now your permanent inheritance. Remain still. Let this holy transmission become a permanent anchor for your wandering spirit. The things I have spoken over your life today are not empty words of passing comfort. They are absolute decrees that are already manifest in the unseen realm, and they will slowly unfold before your eyes as you walk forward in faith. You must seal this covenant between your heart and mind before you walk back into your busy day. Keep this peace. Your steps will be guided with absolute precision from this day forward. You will no longer walk in confusion or second-guess the quiet prompts of your spirit. When you need to turn to the right or to the left, you will hear my clear voice behind you showing you the exact path. I am removing the foggy static from your vision. You will see your magnificent destination clearly. This is my eternal covenant of peace with your name, and it cannot be shaken by the chaos of the world. The mountains may depart and the hills may be removed, but my kindness will never leave your side. You are firmly anchored in my unchanging love, and no weapon formed against your destiny will ever prosper. Walk through your remaining days on earth with the quiet confidence of a royal HEIR. If this urgent message spoke directly to your aching spirit, you must not let it pass without a physical response. Like this video right now as a holy act of agreement with my promises. Share this transmission with exactly 3 souls who are secretly crying out for hope in the dark desert. Become the beautiful light bearer who carries my bread to the hungry and exhausted children of the world. Subscribe to this dedicated channel and turn on the holy notification bell right now. Do not miss the daily guidance that I am preparing for your next steps. The journey ahead will require your constant connection to my voice. By staying aligned with this sanctuary of truth, you are guarding your mind against the return of the enemy's destructive static. Stay awake with me. Now, take your final step of obedience in this sanctuary. Open your heart completely and leave your broken worries at my holy altar below. Comment the phrase, "I surrender all," in the section below. Type your final declaration to draw an unbreakable line in the dirt against the darkness, and let those letters become a physical monument of your permanent release from the heavy storm. Breathe one last time, my beloved child. Receive my ultimate blessing of peace and restoration over your body, your mind, and your beautiful soul. The long night of your isolation is over, and the golden morning of your destiny is breaking right now before your very eyes. Go forward with a light heart and an unshakable faith. I am with you always. Amen.